So, I welcome each one of you for today's session. So, which language is comfortable? Can anyone tell me? Hindi or English?
English will be comfortable, sir.
Okay. So, I would like to take privilege to introduce our today's speaker. So, today's speaker is like His Grace Premikas Prabhuji. His official name is Amit Purohit, and he has completed his educational qualification is BSc MBA Biotech from Pumba. Pune is very reputed institute for MBA, and he work as area manager on India's rank one biomedical company. Also work as HR in IT solutions. Currently, he is working as director of Sri Dhruva Academy and cultivating many students, hundreds of students for competitive exams and giving them value-based education from last few years. And he has traveled extensively for the sake of giving this knowledge to worthy people, to many colleges, companies, corporate people, students, and many other, especially engineering colleges. And he takes spiritual workshops and seminars regularly since many years. He is doing that, and he is called for such seminars and spiritual workshop at various organizations, colleges, and corporate organizations. He has completed his diploma in Bhagavad Gita from Bhaktivedanta Vidyapit and Research Center, Mumbai University. And he is like all these principle. And special thing about him is whatever principle he speaks from the Bhagavad Gita and whatever knowledge he gives to the people and whatever things he tell people to adapt in their life, he himself is following much more higher principle in his own life.
Okay, I think Raju sir is yes.
Yes,
So thank you,
yes, and
Raju.
he will.
Thank you, Raju Prabhu, for introducing me, and I think that was sufficient for me.
Okay, just I would like to tell last thing. He will be one of the regular speakers on our 18-day journey of Bhagavad Gita. So let us welcome him to start our session. And it is like words are very less to introduce him, and time is also very less, and he will not allow me to speak much. So I will
Thank you, Raju sir.
request
Yes.
him to continue. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Thank you, Raju Prabhu, and I welcome all of you for this session on Bhagavad Gita, that is Gita for You series. And all of you have taken out your special time today, especially in evening time, that is also Saturday, taken out time for attending this session. So I thank from my heart to all of you for giving your time for hearing from Bhagavad Gita. So before starting our session or starting our class on Bhagavad Gita, discussing the things what are there in Bhagavad Gita, this wonderful session, I would like to just take a small what we say poll from all of you. I would like to ask that how many of you can frankly tell, no problem about that, how many of you haven't yet read Bhagavad Gita or haven't opened Bhagavad Gita? So you can just raise your hand or you can type in the chat box so that I will come to know the audience, the people around. Okay, very good. One, yes. Okay, others have opened, others have seen, others have read. Okay, chalo. Thank you, Ankit ji. So, okay, some chats are also there. Okay, yes. Okay, 3-4 are there. Okay, yeah. So thank you. So it will be a wonderful day for you that you are starting yours is the first day today that you are starting Bhagavad Gita, and first when you will read, first you will hear about Bhagavad Gita today first time, and you will read some verses today first time. So that will be a memorable day, and I am fortunate that I am getting this opportunity to become part of it. Yes, Raj, thank you for replying. Okay, so before starting this first chapter, that is Arjun Vishada Yoga, okay, we'll recite prayers for bringing auspiciousness and what we say blessings for the session. So you all can also recite. Okay. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छा नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानन्द श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Okay, so this session is dedicated to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is Acharya, who is the founder Acharya of ISKCON, that is International Society for Krishna Consciousness. In short, Srila Prabhupada's life, he is like a Nitya Siddha Bhakta. That is, from childhood only he was a devotee. His family, you can see the pictures. With pictures we have tried to explain. So during his childhood only he had the Vaishnava family culture along with him. Then when he was around the age of 22, his guru in 1922, his guru Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. This is in the middle picture you can see. His guru gave him instruction that you have to preach this message of Bhagavad Gita all around the world in English language, especially because at that time the Britishers were ruling India, and Indians were following whatever Britishers say. Now what we see, the Western culture is there. We all have accepted Western culture very intimately within our heart. So Srila Prabhupada's guru knew that, and he told that this is the best way to preach Indians, by giving knowledge to Westerners. If Americans, if they become devotees, then Indians will follow them, because Indians follow whatever Westerners are doing. That is what is going on right now. The society, the movies, the culture we see, normally everything is coming from West. So Srila Prabhupada's guru wanted him to teach or preach the message of Bhagavad Gita all around the world in English language. So Srila Prabhupada started preaching from India, and he gave many lectures and he went to many places, to such an extent that later in his life, in his 50s afterwards, later when he took sannyas, that is renounced order of life, he used to go to small hotels, or people where people are drinking what we say, some whatever liquor or chai or whatever. So at those places he used to go and ask them, will you take this Bhagavad Gita, or will you take this pamphlet, something is written about Bhagavad Gita in it, are you interested about God? Then here we can see he used to publish, go to printing presses and make his articles and publish those articles and give it to people, sell it to people, or give it for free. First of all, he used to give it for free. A sannyasi, he used to give it for free. So like that he tried to preach the message of Bhagavad Gita, and this is how this is the life of this great soul, that he gave his whole life in preaching the message of Bhagavad Gita. Many times I normally see, or you all must have seen that we tend to say that this is the problem in the world. This is the problem in the world. भ्रष्टाचार है, pollution है, population explosion है, ये है, वो है. People are looting each other. Criminals बढ़ गए. All these things we speak. But practically, if we see in our life, what we are doing is we are just morning we get up, we go for our job, we come from job, we spend some time with our family, and we go to sleep. This is normal life of many people. So what we are contributing, or from our side what things we are doing, so that these all things will not, should not happen, whatever we are speaking about. So what things we actually do in our life to help the society, or what we are contributing to society. So by example of Srila Prabhupada, we see that he contributed so much. And at the age of 70, because he was a sannyasi and he was not having any means to reach to foreign countries, at the age of 70, he could go to foreign countries, or especially to America, in a passenger ship. Mentioned here, you can see the picture, that is Jaladuta passenger ship. Now passenger ship traveling is very difficult, and for a person who is around the age of 70 to go like this, and a sannyasi, and there is nobody he knows there in the foreign country, just for the sake of his guru's order he went there. And because of that, Krishna got pleased. Because of that purity, people started coming to him in foreign countries, and he preached like anything. And that was the time after, in 1966, in 1965 he went there, and from 1966 to 1977, in the 10 years, you will not believe, he could make thousands of foreigners, not Indians. Okay, in India, if you just say I will speak on spiritual topics, people will come and get attracted. Many people will come. Thousands of ladies will come. Old people will come, and they will come and they will sit in front of you. When you, if you want to speak something, if you want to give some class on any scripture. But when Srila Prabhupada went to foreign countries, there were, you must be knowing that foreign people, how, if to convert a foreign person, or to ask him to read or to hear about God, giving the message of, okay, yes, oh sorry, yes, it is, it was not passenger ship, it was cargo ship. The word I could not, sorry, I made a wrong word, I used wrong word. So it was a passenger cargo ship. Cargo ship में क्या होता है, सामान ले जाते हैं बहुत सारे, they take luggage, transferring of luggage from one place to another. So Srila Prabhupada went there, and he made thousands of people into devotees, and devotees of Krishna. All of them started wearing tilak. All of them were chanting the names of God. All of them practiced the principles of Bhagavad Gita in their life, and he made 108 temples all around the world in 10 years of his life. So that is the life what Srila Prabhupada lived, and these are Beatles. You must be knowing the, they were topmost musicians at that time, singers in America. And they also became devotees, and through them, huge wide everywhere, the Krishna conscious movement was spread. This was life of Srila Prabhupada, who lived his life on the principles of Bhagavad Gita. Many scientists, many researchers, many people who they came to take guidance from him, and he was leading all of them. He wrote around 80 books. He translated around 80 books, like right from Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrit, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and many other literatures. His own personal books he wrote, so that they could be distributed all over the world. People should know them, people should read them, and they should become Krishna conscious, or they should become devotees. Okay, so coming to the topic about Bhagavad Gita. When we say Bhagavad Gita, all it is the book on which almost all acharyas, okay, you take of any religion, you take of any what we say, any sect, they must have commented, they must have read somewhere, or in their life they must have written some commentary on Bhagavad Gita. So all acharyas, you take from Shankaracharya or Nimbarkacharya, or anybody, even our all freedom fighters also have given their time for writing something on Bhagavad Gita. Some of them were not correct, but whatever they have written. So we see that Bhagavad Gita is a book, or we can say Bhagavad Gita is a scripture which is special amongst all others. Okay? Why it comes out to be a special book? Because about Bhagavad Gita we see, about Bhagavad Gita we find what we say, the reference of Bhagavad Gita in different places, like in Padma Puran, which is another totally another scripture. Padma Puran, in Gita Mahatmya, we find many things about Bhagavad Gita. And what are those things about Bhagavad Gita? Before starting about the discussions on Bhagavad Gita, first of all, if those of you who don't know about Bhagavad Gita, I will tell you. Bhagavad Gita is the part which is told in between Mahabharata, when Krishna and Arjun were on the chariot, and their chariot was between the two armies in the Kurukshetra. At that time, Krishna spoke this knowledge, and this knowledge is called the king of all knowledge, that is Raja Vidya. we call it king of all knowledge. Whatever knowledge we have in this world, everything taken in one side and Bhagavad Gita taken on other side, Bhagavad Gita will weigh more. That is Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita, in short, if we want to discuss what is Bhagavad Gita in a single word, then I will say it is a manual for life. So if you purchase anything in market, if you purchase a machine, okay, for that machine you require, you will see there is a manual with it. You purchase a AC or you purchase a washing machine, with it you will see a manual, and that manual will tell you how you can use that machine. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita is the manual for life, because God has made all of us, and He has to give some manual also on how we should live in our life. So what are the principles we should live? Everything told properly and descriptively in Bhagavad Gita. So Gita Mahatmya tells that Sarva Upanishado Gavo Dugdha Gopala Nandana Partho Vatsa Dhir Bhokta Dugdha Gitamrita Mahat. So what is said? It says that ki Bhagavad Gita is considered to be the milk of a cow. And what is that cow? That cow is the essence of all Upanishad. Okay, so all the scriptures, they are like cow. Or wo cow, the milk of that cow is Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is essence of all scriptures. It is called as Gitopnishad. And Krishna, as a cowherd boy, is taking out the milk. Okay, is milking the cow, and that milk, who is drinking that? All of us. Okay, all of us, many scholars, many devotees, and especially at that time it was Arjun as a calf. So Bhagavad Gita, if you don't know all the scriptures, no problem. If you cannot read all the Vedas, because it is said that if you want to read all the Vedas for practically 12 years, you have to first of all become master in Sanskrit, and then maybe you will be able to understand. And to understand all the Vedas, the whole lot of what we say Vedic literature, it is quite difficult to come to conclusion. That's why we see in Indian culture, various people will say various things about God or spirituality. So it is difficult. But if we see the essence of all the Vedas, the what we say the milk from the cow of Vedic literature, that milk is Bhagavad Gita. So if you can know Bhagavad Gita, you have got everything. So scriptures are difficult, but the easy option for all of us to know is that is Bhagavad Gita. Then Shankaracharya says, very wonderful verse by Shankaracharya, Eka Shastra Devaki Putra Gitam, Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva, Eko Mantras Tasya Namani Yani, Karmapi Eka Tasya Devasya Seva. Wonderful verse by Shankaracharya. What does it say? It says that now in today's life, if we don't know what to do, there are many people around who speak what not about spirituality and about God. What we can take up, what is the best thing we can do? So Shankaracharya says that Eka Shastra Devaki Putra Gita. That is, Gita is song of God. So that is only one shastra. You refer to only one shastra, that is sufficient. You don't require anything else. Eko Devo Devaki Putra Eva. Only one God, that is Krishna. Know that and follow him. Eka mantras tasya namani yani. Only chant one mantra of Krishna, that is Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which we'll be telling you in further sessions. So that Hare Krishna Mahamantra, if you just chant that mantra, that is sufficient. Only one mantra, that is having name of God. Mantra which has name of God. Tasya namani yani. And karma pe eka tasya devasya seva. Do only one karma. Don't think about ye karma, wo karma, what I can do, what I should not do. Focus on one karma, that is service to God. So if you do that, that is sufficient. So let there be one common scripture, that is Bhagavad Gita. So that's why we are here together to read and to hear about Bhagavad Gita. And actually I'm telling, this will be a life changing, or we can say game changer for all of us, when we complete Bhagavad Gita in these 18 sessions. All in these 18 sessions we are going to see chapter by chapter everything from Bhagavad Gita, all the chapters. And this is like a yagya which you are performing, and every yagya has some result. So surely this yagya of Bhagavad Gita will also have a result for all of you. So I pray personally that it should help all of you. With that, we'll start with the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and this is the overview of the chapter in form of some acronyms, that is DOUBT, doubt, so that you can remember. And I will request all of you to take a book and pen so that you can note down certain points, because at the end of the session there will be we will be sending you quiz, and you have to answer, and those who will give answers to the quiz, they will be getting certificates. So it is a certificate course. So all of you can write down or note down the important points which you feel. And basically, even if you try to understand Bhagavad Gita, so Krishna tells that one who tries to understand Bhagavad Gita, he worships me by his intelligence. So through intelligence we can worship Krishna if we try to go deep into Bhagavad Gita. And I guarantee that Bhagavad Gita will help you to solve any problem which you have in your life. Even Mahatma Gandhi, when he used to say that whenever I have any problems and I don't find solutions, I move to Bhagavad Gita, open any page, and I get my answer there. So Bhagavad Gita will give you result. Bhagavad Gita will give you discrimination or the decision making power. What to do in right conditions and bad conditions or wrong conditions, where indecisive conditions, where you are not able to take decision. So let's start with our first topic, that is Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. D, doubts का D देखेंगे हम लोग, ठीक है. So first verse of Bhagavad Gita will recite, and later on इसके बाद वाले हम verses we will directly read the translation. We won't recite because time is less. So all of you can also recite. धर्म क्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवः मामका पांडवाश्चैव किम akurvat Sanjaya. Okay, so the first line, that is Dhritarashtra Uvacha, that is Dhritarashtra spoke this verse. So Uvacha means speaking. So Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? This question was of Dhritarashtra to Sanjay. So now the Bhagavad Gita, the war was going to happen. Okay, Mahabharata was going to take place, and at that time, Dhritarashtra, because he was blind, he was not in the war. He was at home, and at that time, he was having with him his friend or his servant, we can say Sanjay, and he asked Sanjay that what is happening there. Dhritarashtra is ranking, and Bhagavad Gita is starting from there. So what Bhagavad Gita we are reading here is, or we have with us Bhagavad Gita. That Bhagavad Gita is the narration what Sanjay has given to Dhritarashtra. So one person was asking me that Krishna told Bhagavad Gita to Arjun, correct? And Sanjay told Bhagavad Gita to Dhritarashtra. So Arjuna's heart changed, correct, after hearing Bhagavad Gita. But Dhritarashtra's heart did not change. So why is it so? So can anybody tell me why it may be like that? Okay, okay, no problem, because we have less time. I will only discuss, or what I told to him, that what I told was that Dhritarashtra, yes, okay, his personal bias somebody is telling. Okay, Dhritarashtra heard it, but Arjun heard it with devotion and surrender. Okay, just hearing Bhagavad Gita without devotion will not actually change our heart, will not our change in heart will not take place if we just hear Bhagavad Gita without devotion. So my first request, or first thing we should understand, that we should consider Krishna to be supreme. ठीक है, although है नहीं है हमें पता नहीं है, we may not know, or we not be sure, ठीक है, but we have to consider Krishna as God, and by considering Krishna as God, then we will try to understand Bhagavad Gita. Then you will understand Bhagavad Gita. But if you don't have respect for Krishna, or if you don't consider him as God, then Bhagavad Gita will mean like some scriptural texts which will not have respect for them. They are just there, we'll try to find faults, we'll try to see it from our perspectives, because all of us have some preconceived notions, you know, this is like that, God is like that, this thing is like that, we have. So Bhagavad Gita actually dismantles or actually removes all those things. So if we have respect, if we understand that Krishna is God, then only Bhagavad Gita will make sense to all of us. So Arjun had that faith, and that's why heart changed for Arjuna. Okay, so let's move ahead. So Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra, if you know about both of them, that is great. But we will study their mindset. So Dhritarashtra's mindset was, he was very much attached to Duryodhana. So always he was torn between two things: what is dharma, what is right, and his attachment to his son. Because Duryodhana was always toward the side of adharma or doing wrong. Correct. So Dhritarashtra always was torn upon what to do, whether I should go towards dharma, and whether I should be attached to my child. But every time he chose the second one, that is he got attached, and he heard whatever Duryodhana said, and helped him for his all plans. So how Dhritarashtra was doubtful? He was doubtful about the outcome of the place. So the verse we read, in that Dhritarashtra was asking, dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsavah mamaka pandavas chaiva kim akurvata sanjaya. So he's asking kim akurvata, what they are doing there. Now if I ask you, if I say a person came in room and went in kitchen, he opened the fridge, he took out something, he took out some fruit from there, he cut into pieces and took it in hand, and now what he's doing, what he will do now. So it is obvious that he will eat it, correct? So but Dhritarashtra is asking that what these people did there, what they are doing there. So this question itself shows that Dhritarashtra was doubtful what will happen in the holy place, because a holy place has an effect on your consciousness. Dhritarashtra knew that Kurukshetra is considered a sacred place, or it was considered at that time also as a sacred place of pilgrimage. And that's why Dhritarashtra knew that my sons were on the wrong side, okay, side of adharma, and the fight, or the what is a war of Mahabharata, it was going to happen in Kurukshetra. So my sons will not get the advantage there, because the place of pilgrimage, it has influence, okay, it has influence on you. Like you must have experienced, when you go to temple, you find yourself very peaceful, calm, and the decisions you take there are very good. Even the times in the day, when in the morning time you have the similar kind of mentality. So similarly, when you go to place of pilgrimage, your mindset or your consciousness is affected. So Dhritarashtra was doubtful that my sons, they have gone there to fight, but maybe they can, their mind may change, they may not fight, they may compromise. That was what he was thinking about. So like government protects the righteous citizen, similarly the dharma also protects the person who follows, who practices dharma. Dharma rakshati rakshita. One who practices dharma, he is always protected. We say na satyam, satyam, what is satyameva jayate, correct? Satya always wins, because satya is part of dharma. Then Dhritarashtra, what was his condition? He was telling that Pandavas are also my children, Pandavas, Duryodhana is also my children, all Kauravas are also my children. But within the hearts of his heart, only his sons he was considering as Kuru or his dynasty, whatever, like his children. And Pandavas he used to consider, he was not considering Pandavas as his own. That's why in the verse we can understand from first verse of Bhagavad Gita, correct? We can understand Mamaka Pandavas Cheva. He's asking Mamaka, my sons and Pandu's son. Okay, that is Pandavas. So he was asking what did they do. That means he was already on side of his son, that is Duryodhana. That, and he was having this mentality of me and mine. So me, I am king of this world, and these children, my children. So many times we also get into this thing, many people get into this thing, my whatever is mine, we give preference to that. Like for example, my child, I will my child requires everything, but if somebody else's child is getting anything, then we say why not my child is getting that. Every time we have this tendency to think about me and mine, and Bhagavad Gita will help you, with help all of us to have a clear vision or the same vision for everybody. So that Bhagavad Gita actually brings a universal brotherhood amongst everybody. Duryodhana's action. So in the start of this first chapter, we will not hear much philosophy in first chapter. Why? Because first chapter is a prelude for next 17 chapters, and now we are giving prelude to first chapter also, correct? So first chapter actually sets the scene of the time when Mahabharata was going on and what is happening there. Sanjay is telling the things to Dhritarashtra, and what was the mindset of Dhritarashtra, what is the mindset of Duryodhana, what Duryodhana is doing. So the first few verses, like first what we say 8 to 10 verses, we see that Duryodhana is going to different people and he's talking about something. In Bhagavad Gita, there is mention of Duryodhana. He is talking to Dronacharya, his guru. He's telling about Bhishma. So that is, from those things we understand Duryodhana was diplomatic. So how his diplomacy was seen? This is the verse 1.3. Duryodhana says that, "Oh my teacher," he goes to Dronacharya and he says, "Oh my teacher, behold the great army of sons of Pandu. ये देखो इतनी बड़ी आर्मी है, and so और वो किसने अरेंज की है? So आपके इंटेलिजेंट डिसाइपल है, your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupad, that is Drishtadumna." Okay, so Duryodhan is telling about Drishtadumna. There is no reason he should tell about this thing there at that time, because fight was just going to start. So how Duryodhan was diplomatic in this sense. Duryodhan although mentioned as king, ठीक है, वहां पे किंग उसको मेंशन किया है, और वो कमांडर के पास जा रहा है, दैट इज द्रोणाचार्य. And what he wants to do there, he wants to remove Dronacharya's attachment for Pandavas. Actually, Dronacharya was very much attached to Pandavas. Whole world at the time, whole their what we say, all citizens, okay, all citizens were attached to Pandavas, because Pandavas, they were having their, what we say, helpful mentality. They were not envious, they were not arrogant, they were not proud of whatever qualities they had. They had more qualities than Kauravas, but still they were not proud. So all people, and they were having helping nature to every person in the, what we say, their country or their city. So all citizens were from the side of Pandavas, and that's why Duryodhan was quite envious about them. So Duryodhan, what he does is he goes to Dronacharya, and what he wants to say to Dronacharya, that you give up your attachment for Pandavas. So how he says, he reminds him of previous things. Okay, what are the previous things before this? So now we are now just going little out from the track of Bhagavad Gita. In past, what happened? What happened once when Dronacharya was Dronacharya knew that his friend Drupada, ठीक है, Drupada did one yagya. उनके बीच में थोड़ा टसल हुआ था, वो एक अलग स्टोरी है. दैट स्टोरी वी विल टेक सम अदर टाइम. बट देयर, both of them, they became enemies. Earlier they were friends, they became enemies. And Drupada, who was enemy, friend come enemy of Dronacharya, he did yagya that I should get a son from that yagya who will kill Dronacharya. And he got a son, that was Drishtadumna. And then when he got that son, Drupada sent that son to Dronacharya for learning martial arts or military arts. ठीक है, तो अब हम और आप, if we would have been at their at the place of Dronacharya, हमें हमें पता है कि ये जो person मेरे पास आ रहा है, he is mean to kill me, then what we would have done? We would might 100%, most of us would have said, no, I will not teach you. But Dronacharya said, I will teach you. That is the legacy, that is the culture of Vedic times. So the teacher would not say no. So Dronacharya said yes, and Dronacharya only taught the that son of Drupada, that is Drishtadumna. He only taught all martial arts to him. And now Duryodhan is telling that, now see, he is the person, he is in front of all Pandavas, and he is going to kill you, he is there to kill you. So in past you had shown what we say, your affection for him. Now don't repeat the mistake. He wanted to say this thing, and how diplomatically Duryodhana did that, correct? And also he asked everyone to support Bhishma and other things. So all diplomatic things Duryodhana is doing there. Okay? His inner fear, he points out Drona's mistake. From that we can see that Duryodhana was fearful in his heart of hearts. Okay? He was fearful of especially Bhima. He was envious also and fearful also of Bhima, because Bhima was the one who was always victorious with him. Anytime they had a fight, they were practicing in their warfares or in their childhood, Bhima was always victorious. Bhima, it is said that Bhima alone could defeat all 100 Kauravas. He used to just pick them up and directly throw them in water or whatever. So Bhima was very powerful. So Duryodhan was 100% envious of Bhima. That's why he mentions the name of Bhima also. And he asks for support of Bhishma. So why he asks? Because that shows that Bhishma also should not be very affectionate towards Pandavas, and he should work for Duryodhana, because Duryodhana is king now, and he's like Bhishma is under him, subordinate to him. So Bhishma should support him. All these things show that Duryodhana was quite fearful. He was diplomatic, and he takes names of many people. On their side, all these people are there. On our side, these people are there. So at that time, the Sena or the war was in the war, the main person who was in front would be the leader. Nowadays we see that leader sits somewhere in some cabin, and the poor soldiers, they are fighting on the border. But at that time this was not the case. The king would be in front. So he was in front, and he was telling about all these people. So Pandavas actually were having 7 akshoni of senas, and Kauravas were having 11 akshoni of sena. What is akshoni? One akshoni means around 2 lakh people. उसमें 21,000 chariots होते हैं, around 1 lakh infantry होता है, all these things. So around 2,18,000 something like that. Those many people are there in one Akshoni, and Pandavas were having 2 Akshoni of Sena, sorry, 7 Akshoni of Senas, and Kauravas were having 11 Akshoni of Sena, and they were fighting. So quite unequal, but still Pandavas won. All of us know that. So there are some ominous results we can see in the first chapter only, that Pandavas are going to win. What are those ominous results? Ominous results we may understand. Omens are there. Omen. So nimitta, we say nimitta. Correct. So on from those nimitta, from those omens, we can say what things are going to happen. So the omens, signs of victory. What are the signs of victory for Pandavas? Mentioned in the first chapter, that is Krishna was present with them. Krishna is present. So yatra yogeshwara Krishna, yatra partho dhanurdhara, tasya tasya yatra yogeshwara Krishna, tasya partho dhanurdhara, tatra Shri Vijayor dhruva nitir matir mama. That is, he says that in Bhagavad Gita only, the last few verses of Bhagavad Gita tells that wherever Krishna is there, Vijay is at that point, on that side only. So Krishna was present there. Second thing, Mother Lakshmi. So wherever is Narayan, Lakshmi is there, because husband is there, wife will follow him. So Lakshmi is also there on their side. Then this third picture is of Kurukshetra. So the place of pilgrimage. So pilgrimage wala place jo hai, sacred place hai, that will support dharmic people. Okay. Then heartbreaking. What is this heartbreaking? So when the all of them, they what we say, blow their conch shells, especially Krishna, Arjuna, all of them blow their conch shells. So their tumultuous voice of the conch shells break the heart of the soldiers of the Kaurava army. That is mentioned. So that is another sign that Pandavas are going to win. Then Mahabharat, in Mahabharat, Arjuna's chariot was given by Agni, and it is said that whoever rides on the chariot and fights, he is sure to win. Then conch shells, all of them blow their conch shells. So Krishna's conch shell was Panchajanya, Arjuna's conch shell was what we say, Devadatta, Bhima's conch shell was Poundra. So these conch shells names are given. All these are powerful conch shells. So before war, it was like war was going to start. Before war, the leaders used to blow conch shell, and by blowing that conch shell, they used to that was a sign that war is going to start now. It's not that nowadays we see people before starting war only, there are some missiles come and they fall on citizens, soldiers to kahin aur hai, citizens hi marte usme. So we see that case right now, but at that time this was not the case. And last thing is, that is, Hanumanji was present on the flag of Arjun. So Hanumanji, he fought for Lord Hanuman fought for Lord Ram, and always there was victory wherever Hanumanji was there or Lord Ram was there. So similarly, Hanumanji was there with Arjun also. Okay, so there is a different story for that, but in short, Hanumanji wanted to fight. I'm telling in short, Hanumanji wanted to fight from Arjuna's side, but Krishna said, no, you should not directly fight. You can be on the flag of Arjun, and whenever you feel, you can roar loudly. So Hanumanji used to roar loudly whenever he was feeling. So by just his roaring only, hundreds of soldiers would faint, behosh ho jate the. So that was, these all are the signs that Pandavas are going to win. Okay, so there were various, this verse 1.19 tells about various conch shells which were blown, which shattered the hearts of sons of Dhritarashtra. Okay, so Kauravas hearts were shattered, but Pandavas, no shattering of hearts. That was because, why? Because they had confidence in Krishna. See, Pandavas, they had 7 Akshonis, कम army था, तो वो डरना चाहिए. ठीक है, और Kauravas, they had 11, but they were fearful. ठीक है, why? Because God is present. So sometimes we undermine the importance of God in our life. How the people who have spiritual background, or we say spiritual quotient, they are fearless. They are ready to face anything, to such an extent that spiritual people who have faith in God, they are ready to accept death, which is the ultimate reality, ultimate fear of every person in the world. Spiritual people, they are ready to accept death to such extent. Okay, chalo. We will take questions also at the end. If you have questions, you can type also. At the end, we can take all the questions. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, we discuss this verse. Wherever Krishna is there, there is victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. Now uncertainty. Now what happened? अर्जुन का क्या हुआ वो देखते हैं आप लोग. अर्जुन है वहां पर and अर्जुन is with Krishna and they are in between the army. Army है, army war चालू है, war का condition है. हमें समझना चाहिए उस समय what will be the mindset. They can be killed at any time. ठीक है? At that time Arjun is feeling uncertain whether I should fight or not. He was hesitating to fight. quite a difficult situation. Okay, so when the son of Kunti, Arjun, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion. Okay, when he saw his relatives there, my uncle is there, then my grandfather is there, then my what we say teacher is there, my brothers are there. If I fight, if I, how can I kill all of them? Arjun was thinking like that, and he felt compassionate. He became uncertain. He got bewildered that ये सब मेरे स्वजन है. स्वजन यानी मेरे relatives है, my friends are there, all of them are my relatives, and how I can kill them. So he became bewildered by that. Swajanam, Arjun was telling that seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. So the gravity of this statement, if I and you make this statement, it will not have that effect. But when Arjun is making this statement, it is very important, or it should it is very grave thing or a very important thing. Why? Because Arjun was the topmost warrior at that time, Kshatriya warrior. ठीक है, Kshatriyas fight करते हैं, and amongst Kshatriyas he was one of the topmost archer. And Arjun speaking this thing, Arjun was having total control on his senses, on his mind, everything. He was having control proper. But now Arjun is telling all these things that I am not able to fight. जैसे ऐसा हो गया कि बेस्ट प्लेयर है क्रिकेट का, बेस्ट प्लेयर, एंड ही इज एट द टाइम व्हेन ही इज टेकिंग बैट इन हिज हैंड. ठीक है, ऑल पीपल, एवरीबडी इज एक्सपेक्टिंग दैट ही विल डू ग्रेट टुडे. But that person, what happens is, he takes bat and he is very fearful and he says, no, I don't want to fight. He is fearing. ठीक है, he is fearful. No, I don't want to play cricket now. No, I don't want to play. ये bowler बहुत danger है. ये bowler मेरा दोस्त है. इसको कैसे हराओ? So Arjun was feeling like that. So he, now they are at that point to have a war, and at that time his mouth is drying up. So what are the symptoms which Arjun was feeling? Okay, his limbs were quivering. Okay, then mouth was drying up, whole body was trembling, hairs standing on end. His hands, from his hands, the gandiva, that is his Arjuna's bow, uska naam hai gandiva, wo gandiva that was sleeping wo छूट रहा था हाथ से. Then skin was burning. Then his legs, he was not able to stand on his legs, and his mind was reeling. I don't know how many of you have experienced these things, but some of the things we have experienced during our exam times, especially those who have those who were toppers, those who had studied in their school times or college times. These are some symptoms of all these things you might have experienced, and especially when the paper is tough or you forget everything. You study so much, and on the day of exam, you come into this what we say mindset of fear. So you feel as if I have forgotten everything and not now what I will write in exam. Similarly Arjun ka condition yahan pe ho gaya, and many times this is our condition also in our life, in our personal life. We see many times when problems come in life nowadays, in COVID times, we see lot of problems: business problem, financial problem, physical problems, relatives passing away, great loss, great fear, great worrying. Such a condition I have in personal my life I haven't seen yet in my life. This was the first time. This is I have seen people dying and people crying, and they have lost their relatives. I personally myself lost some of my relatives. So in such condition, all of us have experienced, all of us go through these points of bewilderment, loss of confidence. Okay, uncertain, being uncertain, we cannot take any decision. So Bhagavad Gita is the solution at this point for humanity. Bhagavad Gita will give solution of all this. As we go in future chapters, you will be amazed to find what sort of solutions Krishna gives to all of us, where we are heading to in our life right now, and what Krishna tells us to do in our life. Same thing, but the mentality for the same thing should be different. Everything whatever we do, what should be our motive, what should be our mentality for doing that? If we change that, the things or the actions will become uh, will come in the part of dharma, or they will fall in the right place if we know how and what things we have to do. So in further sessions we will do that, those things. See, first sessions we are seeing here. First session jo hai, that is just a prelude, as I told. So it is just telling about the war and the setting of Mahabharata, and Bhagavad Gita was spoken, what was the condition at that time, and then Arjun's indecision. Okay, so Arjun's reasons what is giving for not fighting. From second chapter we will see how Krishna is speaking, and the solution we'll see in second chapter. So second chapter is actually more important. So tomorrow from second chapter, when we'll see how Krishna gives solution, what type of solutions Krishna gives, explanation of Krishna, how we have to tolerate, and Krishna tells about soul, that is Atma. So मैं कल के for tomorrow's session I'm just telling you certain things so that you all get attracted to come tomorrow for tomorrow's session. Tomorrow's session we'll see Krishna tells that we are not this body, we are something different from this body, and what are the duties of that. And overall, whole Bhagavad Gita, Krishna will summarize into the second chapter. So, second chapter is summary of whole Bhagavad Gita. So that we are going to see tomorrow. So we'll complete with this topic of Arjuna having indecision to fight. So Arjun's why he will not fight, why he decided I will not fight, because he was feeling compassion for his relatives. He was feeling that how I will enjoy if my relatives are not there. Okay? He was feeling if all people get killed, all these leaders they get killed, then tradition ka kya hoga, culture ka kya hoga, men get killed, then what will happen to females, their wives, okay? And then their children, what kind of children they will produce. So Varna Sankara. So Arjun thinks about that. Arjun thinks about the sin. Killing all these people is a sin. Killing relatives is a sin. So these are all Arjun's reasons for not fighting. And the fifth reason is in second chapter, that is indecision. That means at last Arjun says, I don't know. I am making so many sorts of reasons for not fighting, but I am not able to take any decision at this point of time, Krishna. So please guide me. So this is what is Arjun's condition, and then Krishna will guide him in the second chapter. So what we learn from Bhagavad Gita in our personal life, or today what we have learned, some personal things or some note down points we have learned today, that is we should look at your own faults. Okay, so Dhritarashtra was telling about Pandavas, Kauravas, he was telling what they are doing. So he knew actually that my sons are at fault. Okay, उन्होंने fight start किया है. Actually, Pandavas, they said we only want 5 villages. We don't want war, but हम लोग क्षत्रिय है, we are kings, so we have somehow we want 5 villages and we will rule on those 5 villages. छोटा छोटा village भी मिल गया चलेगा. We don't want war, but we don't want whole world, कुछ नहीं चाहिए. But Duryodhan said, I will not give you land which is at the tip of a needle के टिप पे जो लैंड होता है उतना भी नहीं दूंगा. लैंड नहीं है, नीडल के टिप की जो प्लेस है उतना भी मैं तुमको नहीं दूंगा. Duryodhan said like that. So the faults, Dhritarashtra knew the faults, but still Dhritarashtra did not look after those faults. So even Duryodhana was feeling that Dronacharya is attached to Pandavas, Bhishma is attached, but Duryodhana did not see that he himself was attached to money, he himself was attached to the what we say kingdom. So one should see at our own faults before telling to others, before speaking to others. So in our actions we can understand our own mentality, what we do. So many people say that we should journal, we should write daily, correct? So when we write daily what actions we do, so from those actions or from those words we will be able to understand which things we actually point out people on, and later on if we focus more on that, we see that those things are in us also to certain extent, then we'll stop pointing out others. Second thing, to be victorious, righteousness is better than diplomacy. So Krishna was on side of Pandavas. Pandavas were having less amount of soldiers. ठीक है, दो उनका सिर्फ कितना 7 अक्षौनी सेना था, but still they won because Krishna was on their side. So when God is on our side, when we are righteous, we will be 100% victorious. But if we try to do diplomacy and we don't want God, then in that case we have to lose, and defeat is 100% fixed in that case. Then without Krishna, life has no value. So when Krishna is not there, life has no value. Krishna actually is Bhakta Vatsala. Bhakta Vatsal means he is devoted to his devotees. Now there are many yogis, okay? They say you chant this name, chant this mantra, and do this tapasya and attain God. They will ask you, or they are attaining God. They are doing so much tapasya in Himalayas and at different places in cold winter weather and hot summers. They are doing tapasya to attain God, to reach God. But Srila Prabhupada once told to one person, he said that we we want to make God our servant. Okay, not exactly like that, but try to understand. God becomes servant of his devotee. Like for example, if we love God so much, okay, if we love God, if we serve God so much, Lord wants to reciprocate by that, for that. And then what he does was like Yashoda Maya, okay? Yashoda Maya's love, what Krishna does, Krishna actually becomes servant in hands of Yashoda Maya. Yashoda Maya beats him, okay? Krishna runs, he fears from Yashoda Maya, he carries चप्पल्स ऑफ नंद महाराज, ठीक है, चप्पल्स ऑफ नंद महाराज कैरी करते हैं. नंद महाराज जब भी घर से बाहर जाते हो तो कृष्णा, स्मॉल चाइल्ड, ही गोस, ही ब्रिंग्स द चप्पल्स ऑफ नंद महाराज ऑन हिज हेड एंड ही गिव्स इट. सो हु इज सर्वेंट हियर? सो गॉड, actually Krishna likes to serve his devotees. Devotee wants to serve Krishna, Krishna serves devotee. So you become devotee of Krishna, you don't have to think about anything about yourself. Krishna will take care of everything. So all things will fall in place. You work, you are working, you work for money, you work for people, you work for name, fame, prestige. Stop working for that. We work, but we work for Krishna. And when you do the same activity, going to company, same work, everything, but when we work for Krishna, it has value. Like hundreds of zeros will have no value, but when we add one in front of them, it will get value. So what is that one? That is Krishna, that is spirituality. And observe the ominous results. So we can see ominous results. So भगवत गीता में हमने देखे सारे ominous results है, जहां से हमें पता चलता है कि वॉर होने वाला है और कौन हारने वाला है, कौन जीतने वाला है. So we can see our consciousness, ठीक है, our actions, वहां से हम देख सकते हैं, हम समझ सकते हैं कि हम क्या कर रहे हैं in our personal life. Either we right or are we wrong, that we can see. Now Bhagavad Gita in practice, what it does is, just a second, Bhagavad Gita in practice, when we'll hear from tomorrow, the next classes, today's session is over now. So from tomorrow when we'll hear Bhagavad Gita, how it will help all of us, that is, it will help to increase our spiritual tolerance. Okay, emotional tolerance कम होता है, spiritual tolerance, we have to tolerate the situations, we have to tolerate our mind, our thoughts, our actions, our karma, ठीक है, or people around us, diseases, or whatever things we have to tolerate in our life. Spiritual tolerance will actually help us, ठीक है. It will what we say, upgrade us, and emotional tolerance will degrade us. So Bhagavad Gita will give you a spiritual tolerance, will give you a thought what, how to see life. So this is very nice slide which I like very much. So do you have problems in life? If you say yes, I have problem, then do you have solution for that? Yes, if you have solution, then why to worry? Okay. If you don't have solution, you don't have solution, then why to worry? Okay. Do you have problems in life? No, you don't have problem, then why to worry? Okay. So Bhagavad Gita, when we are reading, or the spiritual mentality gives us this kind of thought process. Why to worry? Be patient and move forward. Don't accept defeat. We have to bounce back in our life. And with these Bhagavad Gita sessions, let's see if we can bounce back in our personal life, and it will help all of us to go ahead in our life. Okay. So I thank all of you for coming to these sessions, and I hope it was helpful to all of you. If there are any questions, we can take, or we can meet tomorrow. uh, if there are questions, please type it in the chat box, or we'll meet tomorrow again. I want to make one announcement. Okay, thank you for the session. I want to make one announcement, that the quiz contest is compulsory. Okay, if you give the quiz, then you will get certificate. So please don't miss that quiz. You, in your WhatsApp groups, you will get the message there for the quiz. Yes. Okay, thank you all. Thank you for the thank you for your kind words for session. And every session will be special. Okay, one question is there. Yes. So if I being a student in myself, student, and I find myself in same situation as Arjun, how to come out? Yes, in the future sessions, that is the answer of the same thing we'll get. As a person, like as I told you, Bhagavad Gita is manual, so Bhagavad Gita will have solutions for our personal life. So if you can come tomorrow, I think half of your question, half of your answers will be solved, because second chapter is essence of whole Bhagavad Gita. पूरा Bhagavad Gita compromise शॉर्ट में बताया हुआ है. कर्म योगा, ज्ञान योगा, ध्यान योगा, सब कुछ उसमें बताया है. भक्ति योगा also, everything in second chapter. So please come for the second chapter. And at the start of these sessions, I would like to request all of you that if you can make your life spiritual, like Arjun, he was devotional and he could understand the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. So similarly, we also need to practice some spiritual aspects in our personal life, so that we'll be able to understand. So we have to purify ourselves, we have to have some spiritual activity, so the message of Bhagavad Gita will go deep inside us. So we will request all of you to chant this mantra, that is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So this Mahamantra is mentioned in Kali Santran Upanishad. Hare Krishna, it is Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So it is said in Kali Santana Upanishad that Iti Shoda Shakham Namnam Kali Kalmashanashanam Nata Paratarupaya Sarva Vedeshu Dirshate. That these 16 names composed of 32 syllables are the only means to counteract the evil effects of Kali Yuga. In all the Vedas, it is seen that to cross the ocean of Nisans, there is no alternative to the chanting of the holy name. So this chanting of the holy name is one of the topmost process, we can say, for following in our personal life. So we have, I think we have, okay, we are correctly, we have ended. Now time is over. So maybe from tomorrow, we will chant this mantra a few times, and all of you can also do that. If you chant 108 times daily in the morning time, suitably proper, whatever thing is suitable for you, morning time is the best time for that. Okay, so tomorrow we will be able to answer the questions which are like about the further things about Bhagavad Gita. Yes, Raj, I will answer your question personally. Okay. Okay. Satyendra ji is telling about doubts of Arjun. Okay, these doubts of Arjun, just the slide I will share the slide. These are the 5 reasons. Okay, Arjun does not want to fight. Okay. So thank you all. We'll end the class here. Hare Krishna. Thank you for coming.